for more on this, let's get to Chris Larsen. He's our guest from Piper Jaffray, who has been following the telecom industry for more than 14 years. And Chris, I saw you nodding your head when Chris was saying pricing. You agree, right?
Yeah, price is the #1 issue here. Yeah, how do they price it? Is it going to be a subsidized product? How do you, as a consumer, buy it? But also, what do you pay for it? Is it going to be like the Kindle, where you just pay per book, or is it going to be like a regular iPhone, where you pay $30 for the data and some other voice plan?
Right. What pricing are you looking for? I mean, what do you think is going to make sense?
Well, you want to see it certainly under $1,000. The lower the price point you can get is going to be better. So, if you could get it down to the $500 level, that's where you've got to think is where consumers' sweet spot is. What we learned the very first time the iPhone came out was they tried selling it at $500. A month later, this quote-unquote successful product, they chopped $200 off the price. The next year they come out and they say, no, forget it. We're not going to do it that way. We're not going to do it unsubsidized. We're going to subsidize the device for you, and you'll just pay it back on the service charge.
Chris, let's stay on that. There was so much excitement for AT&T back then. As an investor in one of these stocks, I mean, did that pay off to play that game? I mean, we know what the financials tell us, but as an investor and thinking of the Verizon story this time around.
Yeah, so there's a lot of debate, was it really successful? I think what you need to do is step back and say, how many phones did AT&T sell over the last 2 years that they wouldn't have sold? And the number's in the millions. Right? They stole market share from Verizon. They sold lots of extra additional customers. And the naysayers out there will say, well, if you look at the big quarters that AT&T has had, earnings went down. It was negative estimate revisions. But at the end of the day, they're adding customers that are profitable. And if they can do a good job and hold on to those customers for the next couple of years, which we think they can, then it will have paid off.
How many more are they going to sell if they go on to Verizon and others then?
If the iPhone goes to Verizon, it opens up a whole other market for Apple. And
Verizon's the #1 service provider.
Yeah, and most people that are sort of price indiscriminate either choose AT&T or Verizon. If you look at the customers that are choosing phone companies today, so it's almost doubles the market, if you will, for Apple if they were to sell it on Verizon.
Now, how big potentially is the tablet for Apple? What could it do to earnings? Is it 10%, 12%? What do you think?
Yeah, if you talk to our Apple analysts, they're real excited about it. Say, it's not an estimate. And again, a lot of it depends on, is it a $300 device with a huge gross margin, with very slim growth margin, or is it a $1,000 device with a big fat margin, and therefore nobody buys it? And so a lot of it's going to depend on that. But yeah, 10% type numbers are being thrown around.
Okay, that would be quite healthy then. All right, Chris, thanks so much for joining us on this. And certainly something we're on Apple Watch pretty much for the next 24 hours. Chris Larsen, Managing Director and Senior Research Analyst at Piper Jaffray.